week's edition of Spotlight. My name is Ger Ledden and you're listening to LCCR on 99.9 FM. Coming up in a moment on the telephone we have Martina Doyle, who is a spokesperson for an organisation which is set up to help those people who've fallen into mortgage distress, to help them deal with their banks. The lady's name is Martina Doyle and she should be on the phone now. Martina Doyle, thank you very much for taking our call. Martina, you're with the Hub Ireland. Can you briefly describe what the Hub organisation does?
Yes, the Hub Ireland was set up to help people in mortgage distress. There's 100,000 people that we know of, or are told of, that are in mortgage distress in Ireland at the moment, and apparently there's 200 or 100,000 more on the cusp of it, and the potential to affect over not that far off.
Martina, recently there was an eviction. It was filmed on YouTube, it was shown on YouTube, it went viral through Facebook and other social media. There was a lot of confrontation. I think one striking point is that there were security men aiding the bank, or the agents of the banks, to repossess the house. They were wearing balaclavas and they had the registration numbers of cars blocked out. How does your organisation feel about that kind of behaviour?
Well, about the behaviour of the bank?
Well, just the angry, the tension and the aggressiveness and assertiveness that was shown by both sides, both the people who were defending the property, and I used the term defending, and those who tried to repossess it. It did seem to be getting very angry.
The sad reality of evictions at the moment is, in many cases, a lot of them are actually illegal. And it's very, very disturbing to know that you're living in a so-called lawful country when, attempted evictions are made by banks, supported by solicitors, supported by sheriffs, supported by people from the legal fraternity, supported by other so-called pillars of society. So, if you can't go back into the court system to defend a home, what can you do? The person in question was just an ordinary man, very, very quiet, had lived there all his life. Apparently, from what I gather and having read up on the matter, he had borrowed about 76,000 to extend his home. He'd been working like everybody was back in the good old Celtic Tiger. He had went to the council to get the extension and had been turned down for that. So he was left paying a mortgage for more than he could afford once the Celtic Tiger crashed. He had tried his best. Apparently he had only went in looking for so much to the bank in question, and he was told, oh look, borrow, 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 which a lot of people were back in the day, and this is the thing that's being missed. In Ireland there doesn't seem to be any term about predatory lending, and in no doubt there was predatory lending going on. Now I don't know the man himself, but from what I gather, he would be a victim, like many others were, of predatory lending.
And staying away from any individual case. Have your organisation, have you found quite a lot of cases where predatory lending did take place?
Nearly absolutely every case. Because people come in here and they say, we went to the bank, we wanted to buy a home, or we wanted to extend our home. We were welcomed in with open arms. We were getting credit cards in the post every week asking us, did we want platinum, did we want gold. We went in looking for, one lady told me she went in to get an extension for 40,000 for her kitchen, and the bank person said to her at the time, oh, I should take 100, why don't you do this and why don't you do that. We've had people who went in to purchase a first home and they were told, well look, mum and dad might go guarantor for you. And when they, seemed a bit uneasy with it, they were told, oh, well, no, everything is fine. Don't ever forget the times that we're in it. You had the Taoiseach of the time telling everyone, borrow, 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 get on the property ladder. You've never had it so good. So people, everywhere you looked, there was a house being built on every corner. There was apartments flying up left, right and centre. There was shopping centres being built. It's amazing. And on that very point, a lot of these evictions should be avoidable, considering that some of the people who did fall at the higher ranks are now being able to buy back what they lost at a few cents in the euro. The same is not afforded to the ordinary person who's living in a family home, or the ordinary person who's living on their own and has nowhere else to go. It just doesn't make sense putting people out on the streets for for the taxpayer to pick up the bill in the local B&B or the hotel.
Martina, again, I did notice, again, not being particular to any particular case, but I did notice from that video that there did seem to be a problem with, from a lot of cases I've seen, there does seem to be a problem with the paperwork that people are arriving to repossess houses. That's
huge.
Yeah. Why is that? I mean, surely a bank or a court can get their act together and get the correct paperwork.
Well, that's the $64,000 question. Why indeed? I think really what comes away from it all is that the shabby workmanship with a lot of these evictions, I'd say the term chancing their arm, because nobody ever sees the order. The person comes in, waives the order. A banker is supposed to be present at an eviction. There's supposed to be all sorts of protocol, and yet, in a lot of cases, this protocol doesn't take place. We had a case ourselves recently where somebody came in with an eviction. They had had a phone call from the sheriff, and when we went looking for the order, it was nowhere to be found, including in the solicitors that the mortgage company had used. And the mortgage company wouldn't give the owner the order either, because they said that it had gone legal now. So this person was literally left there with no order and told that the sheriff was coming to take the family home.
And what would you do? How would you advise people if they came to you in that position?
Well, you see, the problem is, if you have a possession order, you may have the right to appeal it, but you must have the order. So in that man's case, he had no order. We couldn't get it anywhere. So that immediately made the whole thing very suspicious. It ended up where the man actually had to go to the guard and make a complaint because he felt there was something fraudulent going on, because the proceedings in the first place were so old and all sorts of other issues,
Now, Martina, again, we saw in that particular case in Corofin, the security men wearing balaclavas with blacked out number plates.
Yeah.
How does your organisation respond to that type of behaviour?
Well, it's absolutely shocking to see the defence. It's alleged that there was a member of the Defence Forces there, somebody in the Army. And, one of the most disturbing things about it all was the fact they wore balaclavas. I mean, if you're doing something that's legal, lawful, respectful and correct, why would you cover your face?
No, I'm assuming, I'm aware of what you're saying. There have been allegations that it was a certain
allegations, yeah.
Army soldier, but
correct.
As doing this as a mixer. But we must point out that the Army have issued a statement saying that there isn't really enough for them to go on and to investigate. But
yeah,
they are cognizant of that complaint.
In fact, they put it into the paper there recently, into an article warning other members of the Defence Forces not to become involved in such.
I'm assuming that the taxpayer is paying to train these men in security techniques.
Absolutely.
We're not paying them to work for private security companies.
Well, I mean, nobody should ever cover their face. I mean, it's illegal to go into a bank with a helmet on you. And, there's no way. I mean, imagine now if there was children in the house or, somebody very ill, people coming in. It must be absolutely horrendous and frightening.
Martina, you spoke to me off air, and I'm throwing this at you now, and you may not be able to answer, but in a very general basis, if you could. You were in court this morning with somebody. Can you tell us, just as an example, what happened this morning?
Well, I would have been in court this morning with somebody very young, with a very young family, and again, a victim of the Celtic Tiger, given a huge loan, even though, may not have had the ability to pay it. But we know now that, the predatory lenders knew all this. They admitted it over the years on various, documented programs, documentaries, the whole lot, that as they gave some of these mortgages, they knew as the person signed they would never be able to pay it off. But this person this morning, terrified beyond all belief, doesn't know what's going on and kind of buried their head in the sand and have now gone back in to try and fight for their home, which is what the Hub Ireland is all about, fighting for your home to stay in it. And, understanding that you have got rights, because people tend to bury their heads in the sand, they're terrified of the law, they're not criminals, and we always say that to people, you're not a criminal because you borrowed some money. You're not a criminal because, you bettered your lifestyle. You're not a criminal because you lost your job. You're not a criminal because your health, mental or physical, went down due to all the stress and anxiety. And, you're not a criminal because the country's banks were all bailed out and yet people are being thrown out of their homes. And, as I said to you earlier, the big boys are all getting write-downs and write-offs and able to buy back their businesses for 40 cents, or about 15 cents in the euro, but the same is not afforded to the ordinary person in the street. And even worse than that, anybody with young people in their 20s, 30s, it's unlikely they'll ever buy a home in this country again. And that's a sad indictment of the times we live in.
Martina, roughly, are there people actually forced out of their homes as we speak?
Well, it depends on how you look at it. You see, there'll be people who'll get a phone call from the sheriff to say, be out by Monday, or I'll be around. This is what happened at the beginning of all of this crisis, which is what started the formation of the pub. People were getting dreadful, nasty 7-day letters. We want €300,000 by this day next week, or you have to get out of your house. So an awful lot of them left their houses. And it was all very questionable, because who bought the houses, who got the houses, who owns the houses? This is all the bubble that's boiling up underneath,
But these would have been voluntary surrenders.
Voluntary surrenders, but no paperwork involved, just left without even engaging in court or, So, they don't know if the debt is going to follow them. They don't know, in some cases, who took the houses. It always goes back to the time when I heard a man on the radio years ago, before I ever understood any of this, and he said he was going around housing estates where he used to clean windows, and he was looking in, and he said the people were gone. The furniture was there, everything was there, but the people had just vanished. And I think this was bubbling a good bit before it came to the fore, which is coming to the fore now.
Martina, do you feel that this situation is getting enough media attention? Are people, the ordinary people in the street, are they aware of what's going on?
The ordinary people in the street are not aware of what's going on, because we've just had a new government elected, 158 TDs, who I have to say, their silence to me is their compliance to turning a blind eye. You'll see everywhere, you'll see sleeping bags, homelessness, which is tragic, and that's a whole other arena. But what you don't see is the hidden poverty in homes where they're trying to pay every last penny. They're getting repossession orders, they're still trying to pay every last penny, and their homes are still going to be taken. That's the most frightening aspect of all. There's a huge amount of complete misunderstanding going on. People feel when they go into court 2 or 3 times, that by paying a few quid, like the old days, well, this will save my house. In a lot of cases, they're paying huge monstrosities of mortgages, and then they go back in and they're told, sorry, still unsustainable, have to put you out. So there's all that kind of stuff. So you can imagine the impact it's going to have on the next generation of children, and, the people who are living in homes like this, where I heard a guy from Vincent Paul on a few weeks ago from Drogheda. He said there's lovely, massive, big Celtic Tiger houses, 2 cars outside, and no food in the fridge, and mortgage shame, which really has to be eradicated in this country. Debt should never be shameful. Not when you've had an economic collapse, and not when everybody has been impacted upon in some way or another, and there has been heavy job losses and all sorts of cuts to services, etc., etc.
Martina, can I ask you, and again, I'm throwing something at you, but am I right in saying that yourself and other people from the Hub met some members of the Dáil recently?
We did. We went up to a meeting in the Dáil, and we were very grateful to go to that, to put our point across. I can't really particularly say if anything has come of it yet. We haven't really heard anything back. Getting back to your point earlier about the media, the silence is just deafening. You know, I mean, you just don't see mortgage arrears prices. There's little bits of it popping up now and again. I mean, a couple of things in the Independent, the Irish Times, some of the magazines. I'd just like to thank, by the way, the Tip Chapter, which is a fantastic little magazine from Tipperary, and they have done an awful lot for us. As you know, the Hub Ireland was set up to help people in mortgage distress, and we are completely free. We never charge. It's our ethos not to charge. How do we run? We literally survive on donations. Our balance sheet is hung on the wall in the hub. We're lucky if it's ever over €800. That goes to pay for the phone bill, the internet bill, and in very severe cases where there is some people don't understand, it can be expensive to go to court and fight your case. So sometimes we may, in certain cases, hardship cases, have to pay for somebody to go to court. So, like, it's a terrible thing that's what it's come to, that we get the people here who end up back from the government organisations, from the other scam groups. There's a new breed of vulture, I call them, coming out. It's these groups who are setting up and they're chasing people around saying, I'll help you. And they're not regulated, a lot of them, and they're charging vast amounts of money. And then the people end up back at the hub saying, oh my God, I have a possession order. So that's something to watch for. I'd like to also put it out there that if anyone ever tries to charge in our name, it's absolutely nothing to do with us whatsoever.
I understand that, and
yeah,
of course we're not making any allegations on any particular organisation.
Oh God, oh absolutely,
Organisation,
absolutely.
but as we said,
just to be aware, Nobody can fight your case. Nobody knows your case like you. Therefore, with us sharing our knowledge, nobody is in a better position.
Martina, are you getting any help from the legal profession in, for example, pro bono work? Is there any barristers, solicitors out there who will offer their time free?
No.
Really?
No.
Have you asked?
Well, you see, the problem there is we go to the courts an awful lot, and I have to say, in my experience, I can't even tell you, and maybe it's hidden, but you don't see solicitors taking defendant cases for repossession. It's a very, very odd one, and it's only getting a little bit tonight in the last couple of months. But in general, I don't see evidence of that in the court. I've tried to look for statistics on how many solicitors have actually saved people's homes in the courts, and I can't find statistics. Now, maybe the Law Society will contradict that and put up statistics, but personally, I've researched and I can't find any statistics which show how many homes have been saved by solicitors. And that's not to cast, an aspiration on anybody. It's just my personal
experience.
Viewpoint. Yeah, experience, yeah.
Martina, I think we'll have to leave it there, but thank you very, very much for coming on the
May I just mention,
of course, yeah.
that if people are in any sort of mortgage distress, please contact us at the Hub Ireland. We're on Facebook. We also, if you go to our Facebook, you will get our website, and that is actually going to be updated soon. There's going to be loads and loads of new information on it. We also have apps, which we would be very grateful if you download, and all our information is on that, including our phone number. Do not suffer in silence. I promise you, there is great help out there, and we will do anything we can for anybody, and that's a promise.
Martina Doyle of the Hub Ireland. Martina, thank you very, very much for taking our call.
No problem at all, and thank you very much, Chair.
And I'm afraid that's all we have time for on tonight's show. I'm back at the same time next Saturday night with another edition of Spotlight. So until then, from me, Jerry Ledden, Slán agus Bannock.